Another wonderful Wednesday night sports delight, because this is ladies' night. Oh, and shout out to our favorite viewer. Hi, Miss Williams.
Miss Williams. Whenever you see Joanne, not Joe.
Oh, the alter ego.
Roll now.
Oh, Ringo.
What's going on? I do like a ghost. Okay.
I mean, and that's just my one excuse to look silly on the sidelines, and I'm totally okay with it. I'm doing my job.
All right, Coach Willis. Well, speaking of,
Everyone, welcome to the Platform Sports Talk Show. It's your girl, Buddy. I'm glad y'all are here to join us for another wonderful evening.
telling y'all, when you get on this show on the ladies' night, boy, I tell you, you are bringing people's careers to a whole nother level. I'm telling you. So here. Yay! Somebody's watching. Shout out to everybody tuning in on Platform Sports Talk Show on Facebook. Yes, or YouTube. Thank you.
That win goes.
I was like, well, Brandon, does Michelle Smallman text you at 11:45 at night?
You let them know, right? No matter what the time, it came through, right?
Yes, I thought that was really dope.
So my question is, how do you balance that passion and emotion in your profession?
So for some of these guys, they're like, even if I do win, it's not going to be enough for some people. So why don't I just go ahead and get the money?
Living the dream. I think all the time. I'm a dream catcher, right? So I chased the dream and I caught it.
Because I took this crazy leap of faith in May of 2011 at 23 years old to buy a basketball team. And everyone thought I had lost my mind.
Just kind of shed light, women coaches, like, hey, we bring it too. we bring it. Hey, it's ladies' night. It's your girl Brittany, also known as Coach Willis. We were just talking. It's been a while. It's been 2 months. Excited to be back. We're here at ladies' night. Bunny's running a little late. She'll be here with us, joining us here shortly. But we got our girl Joe.
Present.
Hey, Joe.
What's up?
Tonight we are at the Saunders household. Different setup, we were trying to do this outside, but St. Louis weather's crazy. You never know what we can have. But we're here. We're live. We're happy to be back. Got a lot of things to talk about. Like I said, we haven't been on since like 2 months, so it's just a lot of things to catch up here. But we also have a surprise guest. She's also the producer's nurse right now. She is killing it. Jamie, the one and only.
The streaming fans when I.
Hi, Miss Williams.
Hey, Miss Dubs.
Was that your like clapping noise?
Yeah.
Or screaming, Jamie.
Yeah.
Hey,
There we go. Thank you. Shouts out to the producers. Appreciate that.
Always got to give shout outs to the people behind the scenes. I could never do it.
You know I want all the theatrics,
That is true. You know probably the ins
I
and
don't
outs
get
of
to be on the show that often, so
Yeah.
I need all that.
Maybe we should just bring you on more often.
Or just watch you guys and share and click the subscribe and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. Well, with that being said, make sure you give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you also go to our YouTube and make sure you subscribe, hit that button. And when we go live, you will be notified. Also, make sure you listen to HD quality on Hot 365 Radio. And we also have our Twitch channel as well. Every last Monday of the month, we have the Man Cave. And then the weeks in between, the last Wednesday of the month, you have the main show. But we are here. So how's it going, Joe?
It's going good. You mentioned St. Louis weather, and me and my husband were just talking about before I came down that it's teasing us, man. It's starting to feel like fall outside. I'm getting a little giddy, but I know in like a week or two it's going to be 100 degrees because it's just now August 2nd. So like, I'm getting my hopes up. It's sad, but it looks like outside it's only 80 degrees, but 80 degrees is better than 101 that we had last week. So
Right.
but I'm all right. I told you guys family's going through a little bit of a sick spell right now, so I'm at home with the strep, and yeah, I'm just happy I can at least be on this way because I've been looking forward to this show. Fred had a ruin in their last chance. I would have been there last time, but Fred ruined it.
We won't go in any detail. That I was ready too. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna be outside."
I was gonna be hungover, showing up to the Saunders house, after America's birthday, but Fred had to do something to mess it up. It's all good. We still love you, Fred.
All right. Hey, we got our girl checking in, Bunny.
Happy hump day. That's all I can say.
Hey.
Happy hump day. Whew. My eyes about to bulge down my head. The kind of day it's been.
Hump day.
Yes.
I need to get over the hump, through the hump, around the hump, on top of the hump, hump the hump. At this point, I gotta laugh to keep from crying. Anyway, how's everyone doing? I miss you guys.
No, we were just talking. I'm like, we haven't done this in like 2 months. I think I kind of forgot how to do this, but figuring it out.
You're a natural, Coach Willis. You can do this with your eyes closed, honey.
Yeah, I guess so. It's the teacher in me for sure, I guess. But yeah, we were just talking about like it's been 2 months, so it's like a lot to catch up on. It has, because we were just talking about it. May, the Saunders, they went on a little family vacation, and then our producer, he's 25 out here dunking. Yeah, it's all good.
He had his game with LeBron and Steph and all these people and decided to dunk. And yeah, so
Yeah.
It's okay. You won, babe, though.
And then this happened. So the cast, so the surgery post-op pics, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that was definitely caught me by surprise. I was like, wait, what?
Well, I thought he was stretching while he was yelling for me to come to the basketball court. So I was like, oh, he must be stretching because
no, that hurts. I experienced. I tore my ACL in high school, and it's no fun.
What?
Back in high school. Oh.
Yeah, high school. I was a sophomore. It was a week. I will never forget. I remember like it's just. It was a week before districts. So,
oh wow,
in the fourth quarter, 25 seconds to be exact. So yeah, it was So now, like as I've gotten older, like I coach basketball and whatnot, and I still play with my girls, but I know my limitations because I don't want to go through that again.
That's a key word.
Yeah,
know your limitations.
Put it on the t-shirt.
I won't sound anymore, but that was great. That struck.
Please put that on a t-shirt. Let's go make some money off that, okay? Know your limitations. We're gonna be better than Nike and saying just do it, okay?
Okay.
I say that a lot, like know your limitations. My other go-to is make it make sense, or math is not mathing. Yeah. I got confused. I guess it's like all my teacher and coaching stuff.
I think I've had
I appreciate them all.
Speaking of math, I've had also tell them that arithmetic's not ticking. Damn.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think I've had a couple make it make sense tweets this year about the Cardinals. Like, because there's a lot of things that I try to make it make sense, but it just ain't happen. Like we'll save it for 2024, I guess. But what about you guys? What have you guys been up to in the last 2 months?
Oh man, absolutely nothing. I needed a mental break from work. I just now getting back into the flow of things. I go back to school here in like 2 weeks. So just taking some time off to myself a little bit. Of course I had basketball the month of June, which was fun. It's always nice to see the girls again and meeting the incoming freshmen and all that whatnot. So that's kind of like what I've been up to, just had that. Then I took some time away. I was telling a colleague today, I felt like I've been going since COVID. When COVID happened, a lot of professional development and learning how to teach during that time. And I just haven't had any time to myself. So needed that mental break is just as important. So that's kind of like what I've been up to. I feel energized. I feel like I'm ready to go. So that's kind of like what I've been doing.
Yeah, get ready. 2 weeks.
Yeah, get ready for the little ones. Miss Willis is going to make her debut here in a couple weeks.
Still elementary or you middle school?
No, I'm still elementary. I think I made that switch. I enjoy it. I really do. I'm really happy where I'm at. I have a really good teaching partner. He's very motivating. So like, no, I think I'm gonna stay with elementary. My work did not get cut in half, but more like 90%. I feel like so. And it's also nice. Elementary PE, like it's so cool because like with little kids, it's like they still have that joy. So it's so much fun. But nope, back at elementary PE life, love it.
Do you guys still do that? Probably not. We're in 2023 now, but sometimes I see the picture on Facebook of the little the parachute, the little roller things that you sit on. What is it called?
Yo, the roller racer. I just sent our producer that video of me on the roller racer. So that was like the other thing. Like a lot of the stuff that I got to teach last year, I haven't done it since I was in elementary. So like there are times where I forgot that I was the teacher.
That was fun.
Scooters, roller racers, parachute. We do rope station day. That's also like a really big thing. We do that once a month and we get all like the ropes and climbing ropes, and I'll do that. But again, back to my knowing my limitations. Like I don't like do all that stuff. But like, yeah, we still do all the fun stuff. I would say the parachute is probably one of my favorite. Oh, and then we do like this cool Halloween obstacle course. That was also a cool thing that we do as well. So yeah, we do.
PE has changed.
It
I
really
don't remember
Parachute. I just like the parachute. Roll up under there to the other side, or put the ball and move it around the parachute. Like me and the parachute, that's one of the favorite things as a kid to play.
It is everyone's favorite. And, believe it or not, like our fifth graders, once they get towards the end of the school year, they like start to turn into middle schoolers, but they like, we'll get the parachute out because they don't do that in middle school. So we'll get kind of like, we'll do kind of the last fun, silly games. And they're like back to that when they were kindergarten. So like, yeah, no, the parachute is like, it's a hit.
Never gets old. I'm telling you.
I gotta learn about this. I do not recall.
No, it really has.
About
I guess like
parachute
I worked in really good 2 school districts, and even like, climbing wall, like it's just like a lot of cool things that we do. We even do bowling. Like, yeah, I have fun at work.
Do bowling?
Yes, we do bowling. Let me tell you something. Like people, like as simple as elementary PE may sound, but like the setup it's a lot. Like the different grade levels.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we have like 3 through 5, K through 2, and sometimes they do different things. So it's like some setups are like very extensive. So, but we make it fun. We make it fun. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, teacher. Thank you. Look, make teaching fun again. Thank you.
That's what it's all about. I mean, they only get at my school. They only get 30 minutes of PE, but it's every day. So like as soon as they come in the gym, it's like go time. They're ready to go.
Right.
So yeah. No, but yeah, that's about it. Bunny, how's your summer been going?
I want another vacation already. So took a family vacay to Los Cabos, Mexico 2 weeks ago. My cousin Janine got married, and this was a destination wedding that brought 200 of us to the Hard Rock Cafe Resort. Hard Rock Hotel Resort.
Wow.
200. I said, dang, I've never heard of a destination wedding with that many people. But
right.
Panamanian side, so this side of my family, my mom's from Panama, so we don't get to see each other often like our cousins. So when somebody gets married or a big celebration, we come up, we show up, show out. We party on the patio of the resort to where they run out of alcohol. So yeah, we kept those servers busy, drank like ate good. Sasha, my 3-year-old, had a ball, and that was her second time out the country. It was Sanai, my 1-year-old's first time out the country. And yeah, good time, good fun. Everybody got to meet my girls. So I want another one already.
I feel you. What about you, Joe? You had a pretty good summer. Minus your illness right now.
Yeah. Shoot, Mia's just been keeping us going. Really, she got like one really good close friend. So her parents are our friends too. So like we're just every weekend I feel like we're doing something. We just had a shrimp boil over the weekend, so that was cool. Made the best of it with the storm that we had. But no, we've been to some Cardinals games. Nothing too crazy. We try to do vacations every other year. So next year we'll go back to Florida again. But yeah, just not much really. Excited for the Jonas Brothers this month. So that's exciting, but yeah. Laugh at me all you want.
I did not fan. As the Jonas Brothers.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be like my 8th time seeing them in concert. Let me tell you.
Wow, 8?
Yeah,
their ticket prices must be half the price of Beyonce to see it that many times. Okay.
It's definitely cheaper to see Beyonce. I've seen Beyonce, like, shoot, I don't know, it was a long time ago. I seen Beyonce, and that was even more expensive than Jonas Brothers tickets. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm pumped. I can never pass up seeing the Joe Bros. Okay, that's just how it is.
If you like it, I like
it. I'm that little crazy girl screaming every single lyric at the top of her lungs. And now that I can drink at concerts, I act a little crazier.
I'm glad we're not doing trivia right now because I could not name you one Jonas Brothers song. So yeah,
that's sad.
Just saying.
Anyone?
I can't think of it, but I know Jonas Brothers songs, and I do like them. So, but I just didn't know. Like, I learned something new about you, Joe, every show.
My name is Joanne. I love the Jonas Brothers.
So, yeah.
Oh Lord,
that's cool. So yeah, everybody's had some good summer and good weeks so far. About technically fall starts the end of September, so we're less than 8 weeks away. So make sure if you haven't done anything already to find one more memorable thing to do for the summer before it comes to a close, because when August hits, pumpkin spice everything. It's time to start seeing ads for pumpkin ice cream, pumpkin Cheerios, pumpkin Starbucks, pumpkin this, pumpkin that. So that's how you know fall is literally around the corner.
Y'all, we already started. Hobby Lobby has all the fall stuff, and I got all the candles. That's lovely.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's early. It's lovely.
Wow. I like to postpone it to the very last minute because I love summer. So I don't want to get into the falls in the area. That's not me. I'm technically a fall baby, but I like the warm. So I'm trying to grasp on the last of summer.
Yeah, no, we got to get through August. My birthday hasn't come up yet, and it's here in, I think, 2 weeks. But yeah, we got to get through August. I'm going to enjoy these last months of, the last couple weeks of summer. So. But I do love fall. Fall is my favorite. But on to the next, we have our special guest for tonight. Her name is Brooke Grimsley. She's 1/3 of the opening drive of the 101 ESPN that airs from 7 to 10 a.m. She was born and raised in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, but now considers herself as in St. Louis after spending the last 5 years here, serving as a sports anchor and reporter here at KMOV TV. She also attended Middle Tennessee State University, earning a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism. From there, she picked up her first gig working on the 3HL show on 1045 The Zone in Nashville, then moved to Arkansas to cover the Razorbacks as a sports reporter and anchor at KFSM. Gosh, that sounds so much fun. It does. But we like to welcome her and just hear about her story. She definitely has a resume. We're super excited to have her here. So yeah, welcome, Brooke.
There we go.
Clap it up. Clap it up.
Here.
So much for having me. I've been really looking forward to this. I know that there was an incident that we've been hinting at the last time I was supposed to be here, but all the matters that we're here now.
Exactly.
Shout out to the producer.
Just say it. You had somebody trying to relive the NBA dreams and it's past their prime. Just say it. It is what it is. You got Jayancy over there testing her vows through sickness and health. Bless her heart. So yeah.
Okay. Still keep the prayers coming, y'all.
We talked about resume. You've added nurse to your
Yes.
The nurse as well.
Yes. Nurse. Was it yesterday? It was my first day actually having to clean. Like I got instructions from the doctor on how to clean the incision and all of this stuff. And I was just like, this is not my calling in life. Like I'm one of those people that's like, blood or anything that looks gross, I don't want to see it. Yeah, so but I did it like a champ. He's alive. He's still married. I was like, this is one of my big accomplishments of life. I was like, now I'm a real wife. I cleaned a wound.
You're rechecking those vows like, oh, we're gonna take these very literally.
I know, right. I was like, okay, let's put this to the test. Yes.
Bruh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I really have been looking forward to this and love talking sports, especially with ladies. I think that women in sports media matters so much. And the representation matters. Having our voices heard matters because we're still constantly, as women in sports, breaking that barrier, that ceiling, that glass ceiling, because there's always going to be people who want to keep you out. And you feel like you have to keep pushing your way through.
Yeah. So, yeah, with that being said, where did you find your passion, through just, with sports and then just kind of getting in, the broadcasting, path?
Yeah. So I grew up playing tennis competitively my entire life. Just always enjoyed that. And my dad is a huge sports nut. So I was only child. And my dad, I would like to say, because, you know, he wasn't big on gender roles with certain things where it's like, this is, you know, just for girls, this is for boys, sports are just for boys. It was like he took me under his wing and we went to so many sporting events together. We watched games together. I mean, even to this day, I saw him this past weekend. The majority of our conversations were talking about sports. And that's just one of the ways that we connected. And I grew up in Tennessee, as you mentioned. So Tennessee Titans fan. So it's ironic that I'm in St. Louis, the city where the St. Louis Rams kind of crushed my little Titans girls' dreams.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry, you didn't hear that.
Yeah. Well, it's great for St. Louis, but that era was some of the best football to watch. And so growing up seeing my dad's fandom, I just picked up on early that sports, while it can anger you at times, it also is something that brings so many people together from different backgrounds, different walks of life, just the energy. You can't beat that. And I was like, I want to be around that all the time, like all the time. So in high school, still played tennis, but then I started working around my high school football team. And then I did the same in college with the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. And then that's when some people were like, have you ever thought of doing sports broadcasting? And I saw a few women doing it. And then they got a sports reporter in Nashville. And I was like, wait, this is an actual career path that I can pursue. I can see a woman actually doing this. This is something that I could possibly pursue and accomplish. And so from there, I was, you know, working my tail off, bartending in Nashville, which I got there at the beginning of the Bachelorette era. So that kind of helped. You need thick skin to be a woman in sports. And I think that working at the Bachelorette Capital provides that thick skin on top of working around sports. And so I just pursued broadcasting, radio, and TV, and was able to get a job in Arkansas, my first job right out of college. Sports anchor reporter. If anybody knows anything about the Razorbacks, they have a very passionate fan base. So that was great. And then St. Louis came about. And St. Louis, I had other job opportunities too, but I knew how passionate St. Louis was about their sports and is about their sports.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I could come here and be a sports reporter, I'm going to be broadcasting to people who really know their stuff. The city revolves around sports. And as a sportscaster, that's exactly what you want, right? I mean, this city lives, breathes, eats sports, all sports. And when I was able to come here in 2018, we had the PGA Championship. And then I was able to cover the Blues from worst NHL record to winning the Stanley Cup. It's just such an electric environment to be here.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, I was at the PGA Tour. So I was like, oh, yeah, I was here. Yeah. No,
go to that?
Yeah, I did. I got tickets from a colleague. She was selling them out. And I was like, sure, I'll go. Because I'm like the same way. I love being around sports and stuff like that. So
it was a crazy environment. Just even having Tiger Woods there. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
It was, I got to see him and that was like really cool. I was like, oh my God.
You could always see where he was because there was a sea of people just
like following
him around.
I got to see like some that I'm like familiar with or whatnot. So like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like St. Louis sports here is like, it's amazing. Very supportive. And during that time when the Blues won, that was really big for the city. Joe was really happy about that. You know,
I went to the parade and I don't even watch it. I just had my first hockey game this year, but I went to the parade. I yelled, did all of that. I'm like, I don't know who this is in the car, but that's great. I'm still gonna yell.
Wow. If you were a hockey fan, you became one during this time.
I did. I had my blue and gold. I had my eyelashes, all the theatrics.
She said she got that Stanley Cup run.
Stanley Cup. There we go.
Yeah, we definitely bought this bad boy. What's funny is we went on vacation like the week after the parade, and we brought this everywhere we went on vacation. And then we stopped by Nashville. we stopped by Nashville on the way home, I think. And we got pictures of us, standing outside Bridgestone Arena, hoisting the cup up, and all these Preds fans were so mad.
That's how it should be. Good job.
Yeah, we were in the Smoky Mountains that year, and so there's like pictures of us like in our cabin balcony, just hoisting it up with mountains in the back. It was cool,
Mhm.
but yeah. So we still blow it up if it starts to lose any air. I know it was a bad year, but
That's okay. We're
gotta
gonna bounce
keep
back.
it up.
You
Yep.
know what?
All
I
right.
make it a rule when I'm traveling, specifically in the airport. I always have to have a sports theme something, so everybody know I'm from St. Louis. Specifically,
Oh, I do that all the time.
so I have mine right here. I have my little Carlos blanket I travel with. Is this upside down?
Oh,
Yes.
I do
Right
that
side
too.
up. Oh yeah. So I make sure I travel with this. All on the airplane, I put it around my neck, put it on my lap, wherever, all through the lobby to the hotel. I'm like, you're gonna know by the end of the time that you see, I am St. Louis. Okay. I make
Yeah,
all
we
these
always-
people mad, even in Houston, even though the Cardinals suck this year. But you're still a diehard fan. You're gonna represent even when they lose, you know?
Yeah, like anytime we go on vacation, there's one day we're gonna be rocking Cardinals gear. And Brooke, that reminds me of Adam Wainwright. Shoot, it was probably a couple months ago, but I liked how he was talking about how you guys asked him if he was asked to be traded, would he waive it, to go somewhere else, and he pretty much just said no straight up because he loves St. Louis, and like how he was talking about St. Louis fans of like they got tattoos of when their fishing gear's got Cardinal stuff on it and their cars got like that's just how St. Louis sports fans are. They suck, but we still love them. They make us mad, but we still love them. So
exactly.
Oh,
They have
I
the
got a
history.
question.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna add a question for you because we're speaking about Cardinals. Way back in the early 2000s, I was an intern at Fox 2. So one day I got to join then sports producer Mo Drummond. I got to join him. We went to the Busch Stadium. We were still at Old Busch, and I got to go into the locker room. This was after a game. I guess they won. So my look, like, is this happening? Am I seeing this? Not that I was just happy to be into the Cardinals locker room, but of course, all men, they're changing, and somebody was naked in the corner. I'm like, ooh. Hey, I wasn't expecting this. My intern was in college, so I'm still like early 20s. I'm like, I'm gonna act like I didn't see that.
hold on, who was it, Bunny? First off, why have you never mentioned this ever?
All
Please,
right,
I don't remember.
news.
Sitting on this.
I'm just saying, because I mean, when I did that internship that summer, it was fun. That was it was a couple things I remember that happened. That's what someone showed my age, by the way. But I was gonna ask Brooke, has she had an experience in the locker room or something like it, whether you was interning or as a professional now, where you like, I'm gonna act like I didn't see that.
Yeah, of course. It's definitely a very unique situation because there's actually, been times where I've been in all the locker rooms except for NBA is the only one that I haven't been able to cover, which I would love to be able to cover one day.
Mm-hmm.
But you just get used to it because I feel like, I don't know, the guys know that you're coming in, and whether you're female or male, I don't think a lot of them want to be naked right in front of you, but it's kind of a part of the process, and you just kind of have to wait. And so sometimes you just kind of give them the courtesy of like turning around, making sure that the cameras are, not facing them or anything like that. I will say, like, probably NFL is where the players were like the most brazen about it, where they would just be walking around and you're just like, okay, I'm just going to respectfully look up at the ceiling, because it's a part of the job, part of the business at the end of the day. And we still have to get those interviews. So that's just how it goes.
I'm learning a lot. I would have maybe changed my career path a long time ago had I known. Before Smoooth, my BS years. Before Smoooth. I would have considered.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't look in.
I'm not looking.
Looking
I'm like
the other way.
like in the locker room. What?
Yeah.
It's ladies' night, so whatever. There's nothing to look at.
I warned you about that. I'm surprised Mo didn't warn you about that.
No, he did not. He was just like, come along with him. I'm like, I'm going to the locker room. He's like, I said, okay. I had my little present, temporary pass and stuff, and I was like, oh, but second nature to him. And I was thinking, as I'm older, WNBA. If I went to a WNBA locker room and the ladies are getting dressed and showing they tatas, would I be like, oh, cover up, or would I just, we all got the same body parts as women, so I was like,
yeah.
So,
okay.
It's definitely a different experience. But it's interesting. Robin Roberts, when she used to be a sportscaster, she was one of the pioneers of really making sure that women also were allowed into the locker rooms because for a long time, obviously they would keep the women out. And so then her male competitors were getting an advantage of getting to those interviews quicker because if you're waiting around for somebody to get dressed, then sometimes you might be waiting around a little too long. So the men would be able to just go ahead into the locker room and she would have to wait. And so would other women. And so she was a big pioneer of making sure that women could get in there so they had the same competitive advantage of getting the stories as the males did.
Right.
So there's always, it's definitely different and interesting, but I think it kind of helps level the playing field of making sure that you're not left out as a female in those conversations.
Yeah, that was going to be like my follow-up question. You kind of gave us a nice brief of just, how you started and how you got interested in it, but like, just some of the challenges that you had to overcome being in this, in this field, especially like you said, as a woman in this, male dominant field. Like, what are some of the challenges that you went through from your first gig to where you are now? Like, what were those like?
I think one of the big things is, and still to this day, I struggle with it, is not everybody's going to like you, right? Yeah. There's going to be people where before I could even say a word, they will already have their thoughts, impressions, ideas of me. And some of those are societal things that maybe that they were put on them, that they can only envision women in certain roles. And it's not my job to convince them otherwise. I can just only focus on what I can control. And I have to stop focusing sometimes. And especially my past, when I would get like a negative viewer comment or somebody say something to me, it would eat me up. I mean, I would sit there and think about it, cry, get upset and just be like, oh my gosh. And then I would have to put into perspective of that's one person. And yes, they're entitled to their opinion, but it's not my job to convince them otherwise. And as a female in sports, you're going to get a lot of comments like that. Even before I came in here, I saw on Twitter this guy calling out a female sports reporter I know. And it's like, women don't belong in the sports industry, all just terrible language that he was calling her. And she was going back and forth with him. And I'm like, that guy's already made up his mind.
Right.
Who cares? And you're not going to be able to satisfy everyone. So that's always my biggest hurdle. And till this day, I try to be strong about it. I'm able to, move past it a little bit quicker. But when I was younger, it was definitely tough because you want everybody to like you, right? But that's just impossible a lot of the times.
Right. I mean, it's just us being human.
Yeah.
I think that's, and yeah, I agree. Like just controlling what you can control. And
exactly.
Everybody, they're entitled to their opinions and nothing really, nothing you can do about that. But that definitely makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And then sometimes too, in the industry, things are competitive. And so, you'll have males who even in the industry will try to, one up you or, kind of push you aside and think like, oh, okay, what you don't really belong here. So you even have people in your own industry sometimes looking down upon you. But once again, none of that stuff matters. And you just have to focus on your job and what you can do. And who you are. It's not your job to convince them of who you are.
And I saw that, joining with ESPN and, growing up as a kid, I've seen it. My dad would watch. He was a big Chicago Bulls fan.
The 90s teams, but keep going.
Team. I mean, yes.
My father was like that. He had us watching those games.
Yeah. So, growing up as a kid, we watched it on ESPN and, you would see, just men who are broadcasting. So did you find the challenges with ESPN being a female broadcaster compared to some of your other gigs?
Well, I was actually very lucky in that the people who are over at 101 ESPN are very progressive in their way of thinking. And that was one of the first conversations we had is they said, I want a female voice in there. We respect female voices. Michelle Smallman, and I know that you guys have had her on the show, her coming in before me. And they really value female voices. And not everybody can be like that. But it's like you said, there's still to this day where I look up on TV or if I'm listening to some of the other shows and it's all males. But what's kept me, or, I try to remember, just keep pushing on with it, is that I've had so many women come up to me who are sports fans, and they're like, I'm so glad that there's a female perspective on that show. I love hearing female perspectives, and even from males saying that too. And I think that that's really encouraging, because I want people to, see that and be like, okay, this is maybe like how I was a young Brooke, finally seeing a female sportscaster and be like, oh, this is actually something I can pursue and actually succeed in.
Yeah. No, and then you talked about Michelle Smallman and then also Michaela McGee. What are your relationships with them?
Michaela, I know that she was at Fox too for a while. So that's where, when we were both in TV, that's where I met Michaela, and she's fantastic. I still talk to her. I know she just got engaged, so congratulations to her.
She did. I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Michaela is fantastic. Tons of energy, super athletic, which is something that I learned, getting to know her more. Super positive energy. And I always gravitate towards those personalities of, you can be a girl's girl, but empowering other women. And her and Michelle are exactly that. And Michelle, just working in TV here, getting to know her, and I talk a lot, especially in this transition to radio, because her doing the job here before me is what helped me even get into that role, where they could see a female in there. So I greatly appreciate her for that. And so they're both fantastic women and empower other women too.
Do you like TV better or radio?
There's like pros and cons to both, right? It was like what I was telling you in the kitchen. It's like with radio, it's 3 hours of stretching out and talking. So some days you're a little bit chattier than others. And then with TV, it's just 3 minutes. You got to be very concise. So some days it's nice where you just have to worry about being concise. And there's other days where it's like, oh, I wish I had more time. The good thing about radio, though, is I don't have to get as dressed up as I did for TV. I love athleisure and just being relaxed. And so that's definitely a positive, because for TV, there's definitely a certain standard they expect you to look like and dress and be presented. Because if you just go on TV without like certain makeup even, then those lights will wash you out. And yeah. So I kind of like radio.
Do you dress up any more than before the YouTube happened? Because now you guys are on YouTube, we can go on there. Do you dress up any different or no?
You know what? I considered it the first day. I think the first day I really tried to pull it together, and I was like, okay, I got to make sure I impress some people so they don't think that I just like roll out of bed in the morning. And then literally the next day after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to show up in sweats and like a hat. And I even tweeted out one day, I was like, you can tell my hair wash day, because the days I'm wearing a hat is I'm going to wash my hair that night.
Right.
And so I feel like at least you're getting to see that real side of me with that.
I meant to point out to you, Brooke, that we mentioned Michaela McGee. She was actually a panelist, and she used to help us host ladies' nights as well for a while. So when I just saw that picture with Randy, you, and CD, I was like, we've had all of them on the show. Yeah. We got the whole trio there, So shout out to everybody at ESPN 101 in the morning. Thank you all.
I think we're only like 2 or 3 people short from like everyone on 101, honestly.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Who are we to hound?
Right.
So, we haven't had Jamie Rivers yet. Which now he's gonna be even more busy with Blues coming up, because I think he's gonna take a bigger role in that.
Alex Fario, did we have them?
No, we've had Ferrario. We have not had Brennan Kiley, I don't believe.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we've had everyone. But yeah, I mean, we have Stalter, Carricker, Smallman, Carrie Davis. Shoot, yeah, we've people that call in like Jamie Rutherford. We've had quite a bit of people, which we've mentioned it before. Like the whole COVID thing sucked, but it gave us a great opportunity with this show, because like years ago would we have you on here? I don't know. Michelle Smallman. I don't know if that ever would have happened. So it's given us a lot more opportunity.
You gotta help us to elevate the name, the platform Sports Talk Show. We got a big platform now.
And now we've officially called out Jamie and BK. So now we know we got to get them on the show next.
Call them out.
I tend to disagree with a lot of BK's thoughts on Twitter, though, so I might have to. We might duke it out if we ever get him on here. So, but that'd be me.
You guys could duke it out about it. I think that would be a great show, actually.
Yeah, sign us up.
48 hours to respond. We need you to
producer, get in their DMs, get on them. Let's go.
He's a new dad now, though, so I don't even know when that's gonna happen.
Well, he's still working, and his baby was born on my birthday.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Birthday. When's your birthday?
July 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you just had a birthday not too long ago.
Oh, nice.
No, you.
Oh, I thought you said you almost.
No.
I don't remember. Your birthday, when is it?
August 29th.
Yes, because we were talking about that.
And
with
both of you
schools
all,
coming up.
Jamie and Brittany have birthdays coming up in August. So, Brooke, what did you do for your birthday? Then you other two, let me know what you all are doing for your birthday.
For my birthday, that's like my last weekend of freedom. I gotta work on that Monday.
She's like, I'm gonna be crying in morning.
I'm sure I'll do something. I'm low key. Like all my friends, close friends, we just kind of go out and do something. I think last year, for my 30th, I was like, can we just go to Westport Social? Like, because I like, I just like the sports thing. You can catch me at the basketball area. I'm there. I'm over there shooting hoops. I remember one time I was like starting to sweat, and I was like, "Let me go ahead and stop." Like,
look, too competitive for it be a social gathering, right?
Yeah, I was playing like a game with one of my friends, and like they're like, then you'll see like people, because I mean, I'm a girl who played basketball. I was a hooper, so like people are just like standing there, and I'm still like I'm competitive, and I'm
like I got an audience now.
Like yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I'll probably do something like super low key, like go to like I don't know, brunch or something. Like I love going to happy hours. You can find me there all the time. I think that's a teacher. But yeah, no, actually thinking of it, I actually want to go and try a putt shack for my birthday, probably.
Oh,
yeah.
The pictures look nice.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably I should tell my friends about that. But yeah, that's coming up my birthday, August 12th. So
you have time to plan.
I do. Leo season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Miss Jamie, what you going on for your birthday?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys already know, but Beyonce is going to see Beyonce, so that's gonna be like the pre-kickoff of birthday. I already took off the next day from work, and I put on everybody's calendars. I'm like, Beyonce recovering from Beyonce. So
yeah, I gotta go to work the next day. Like that's the first day of school, the 21st.
I took off. I'm like,
yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, but like it's on Monday. That's our first day of school.
Yeah.
So like I can't call off the second day of school.
That
my
would
principal
be
would not approve that. They'd be like,
like,
teachers taking the day off. It's kind of like a bomb being dropped. Like it's So yeah, no, that's
yeah. I believe celebrating the whole Virgo season, so I'm sure there'll be several events.
Hey,
I've always
calm down, Virgo. It's still Leo season.
As soon as that's over with, then
it's still Leo
y'all
season.
can have y'all beans because when September roll around, Libra season all day. So I'll let y'all have y'all little shine, and we ready to roll. Keeping life balanced for everybody.
It's Leo season. Yeah, I started Leo season as soon as it turned. So yeah, you know how it is. So yeah, I mean, since we're talking about like celebrity, is there any like athlete or celebrity you would like to meet, or have you met like someone that you were
immediately? Serena Williams.
How about that? Did you meet Serena Williams?
I want to meet.
You want
That's
to
who
meet?
I want to meet. So I have been able, luckily, to meet a lot of cool sports celebrities like Tiger Woods. I think that was like a bucket list one. But Serena Williams is
absolutely
like the top, because when I was growing up playing tennis, I mean, that was premier Serena Williams. And I wanted to be just like her because of her power forehand. And so I would just go out there, and I wasn't even playing for endurance, which is, bad for tennis because you should be playing for endurance. I was just like, I'm going to hit this as hard as Serena did out there. I just wanted to do everything like she did. That is my goal, to be able to meet her. I mean, that's the sports celebrity or just celebrity in general that I would love to meet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like.
Do you
top
still
tier.
play tennis?
I
Like
do.
just for
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for fun. It's hard to find people to play with because I feel like so many people play pickleball now.
I was gonna ask you about pickleball because
Yeah,
we have been playing pickleball.
Yeah.
Jamie, I can take Smooth spot until he gets back.
Okay, okay.
If you need a partner, I
will tell you I can't play that good, but
yeah.
I have
can't
heart.
play good, but I love playing in tennis, even though I suck, because I just love the back and forth, and I think like I'm doing something. I mean,
I would say when I taught middle school for 5 years, tennis was actually my favorite unit to teach. Like I loved it. But yeah, pickleball is like now mainstream. It's like a really big thing.
It's everywhere. It's
I think it's overhyped. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah. Well, that kind of plays into what I was about to say because I think that it's fun and I like that all ages are able to do it a little bit more than tennis.
Yeah.
But it is taking over a lot of tennis courts. So they're tearing down a lot of tennis courts for pickleball courts,
Yeah,
which
they
I
are.
understand the demand, but at the same time, the tennis player in me is like,
No. Yeah,
stop taking away my courts. You'll see me over at Forest Park just shouting at like the
Yeah, it
pickleball
is.
courts that they're bringing.
Yeah, it is growing. When I worked at a recreational center, like I remember like one of my jobs was like to set up the pickleball like courts and like it'd be like retired people and like they're so serious. They have like, and then I used to work at Sports Authority before they closed. And I remember like seeing those paddles can be like anywhere between like $80-$90.
That's how much it costs for the
If you
paddle?
really want, if you want a
It better
good
run
paddle,
for me or something for
it's-
$80-$90.
I don't understand it. Like I was introduced to pickleball in high school and my teacher had this fancy one and it does like it hits differently off the ball versus like a wooden paddle. So I mean there is some like slightly like advantage,
Perks
but
of it, yeah.
they got pickleball courts at like the Chesterfield Mall. Like that's because there's nothing in it.
I've heard about that.
They have a pickleball like little courts facility somewhere in Fenton. Don't ask me how I know this stuff. Like I don't go out and play pickleball, but I just hear about it because I have colleagues who go and like play pickleball all the time.
Yeah, me and Smooth, we play. The last time we went to the park, we played, and it was like these older ladies there, and they're like, "You want to play against us?" We're like, "Yeah," but I mean, they were
serious.
It was, but it was funny because we thought we were like really doing something because we like in our head we won. I don't know who officially won, but we're like old ladies. Like
people will play pickleball to like 9-10 p.m. at night. Like it is a real.
Oh my god!
It's a real deal. Yeah, it's a real deal. Like sometimes depending on like where I'm at, like sometimes where I'm driving back home late after whatever, like I see people at the park playing pickleball still. So yeah, no.
It's crazy because I've never even heard of pickleball until we had John Hewlett on and he was talking about it. And then him and Fred were going back and forth and never even heard of it. And then now it's like the most popular thing in the world, apparently.
So, Brooke, do you think it's here to stay or is it overhyped?
I think that it is here to stay. It's grown so quickly, especially with what you were saying, Joe, is that it feels like it just came out of nowhere. But it's grown so fast. I think that even St. Louis technically has a professional pickleball team, and it is former tennis players. They're not playing here specifically. They're like going around the country and playing in different areas. It is picking up a lot of steam because even some of the best pickleball players are former tennis players who actually have played at highest stages, US Open, all that stuff. I feel like it's going to be here to stay. And I don't know. At first I was kind of crusty about it, like old and crusty. Like, I don't, if you want to play this sport, then you need to play tennis. That I'm like, you're taking away our tennis course. But now I feel like it makes it accessible for everybody. So I guess that's a positive.
You can like do the lines. You don't have to take away the tennis court. Just add the pickleball lines and the kitchen.
But there's so much more of a demand for it. That's the thing that's driving it. Everybody wants to play. All ages. I mean, old people, young people, everybody can play it. And I think that's what's made it grown so much.
Yeah, it's kind of like low impact a little bit compared to tennis. Tennis is a little bit more fast paced.
Oh yeah, running around.
I was like, oh, that's low impact. I'm like,
I mean, compared
so tired.
well, I mean, if
you're
comparing it to
tennis,
like
gotcha.
it is like it is, like
like
pickleball.
the iconic Serena Williams splits.
Oh yeah.
I would never forget that. I remember like when she was, when she announced her retirement, and one of my colleagues, she was like a big Serena Williams fan. She was a kindergarten teacher in my building, and she was walking around with a tennis racket, and she taught her students about Serena Williams. So when they
I
came to
love
PE,
that.
they're like, Mrs. McAllister said Serena Williams is the best. Like, I mean,
I love it.
you know, and like she went home and like watched it, and like she came home like she won, like, or then when she lost, like it was a really sad day.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah. So no, I agree. I would love to meet Serena Williams too. I think she's a great inspiration, you know, in female sports for sure. Just, you know, like great example. I mean, like you said, from the media to being an athlete, just some of the challenges that women have to overcome in sports. You know, it's just like, just in general. So like, yeah, no.
And she even had to face it. I mean, as big as she got even before her retirement, still was having to face it on almost a daily basis of people still trying to criticize her, still trying to find a reason to not consider her one of not just the greatest female athletes of all time, but one of the greatest athletes of all time. And that just shows you, I mean, she is so talented, smart, strong, and people still try to find a way to put her down. Because they just want to see her succeed. Seeing a woman succeed at that level.
Yeah, she was the reason why I got a tennis skirt. I never had a tennis skirt. No, I didn't.
You talking about back in the 90s when it was like mid 90s, early 90s, I think. Yeah. You talking about that era or like recently?
Just tennis skirts in general. Like I mean, I have like they're nice. I don't know how to describe it, but
like the pleated tennis skirts?
Yeah, you know, of course it has to be appropriate, you know.
Yeah.
But like I would wear my tennis skirt during like the tennis unit when I taught it. Like the students knew, like they started to figure it out, because I only wore it like when I was teaching tennis. So like I will show up. They're like, Miss Willis, are we doing tennis? I'm like, you know it. Oh man, yeah.
I got my skirt, but we haven't been
one of my favorite features.
I got it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but that's a good answer, Serena Williams. Yeah, I like that one for sure.
What about if a male athlete? Because like I have an idea of who you would say, but like who is a male athlete that you would like to meet?
So do you think it's a tennis player?
No, I didn't know until tonight though that you love tennis. So
okay,
just based off of what I know about you from the radio and the Twitter sphere. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So if you're gonna say that, I think that maybe you're gonna say Derrick Henry. Maybe. Are you thinking Titans? Are you thinking baseball?
I'm thinking baseball.
Oh, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, Shohei. Yeah. I love that Japan jersey you got. I remember watching the WBC years ago, and was it 2017 when I got really big? But I don't know, this year they just looked better. Those jerseys.
Oh
I think those are slick.
Yeah, the jersey is a prized possession of mine. It's a Lars Nootbaar. I was debating about getting a Shohei Ohtani one, but Shohei Ohtani is also goal male of mine just because he's a unicorn. I don't think we'll ever see a baseball player like him again with what he's doing. I wish the Cardinals would get him. I think he will be way out of their price range, way out of their price range. But still, I mean, he's a freak athlete, right? I think another male athlete I would love to meet just on the tennis side would be Rafael Nadal. He has always been one of my other tennis idols because I grew up on clay courts and he's the king of clay. And I've just always dreamed of meeting Rafael Nadal. But him, Shohei Ohtani, I did say on the radio that if Shohei Ohtani does decide to come to St. Louis, I will get a Shohei Ohtani unicorn tattoo. So I don't know if that adds.
Oh, wait a minute. I think you know what? That may happen, because think about how long Randy Carricker said he was going to get a tattoo. He had to wait for the Blues to win the cup. Yeah. And what did he do? He got that tattoo.
And he got
there is a 100
here, Brooke. Okay, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Funny. There's a 100% chance the Blues win the cup again before the Cardinals even think about opening their paycheck to Shohei Ohtani.
But Shohei still has some years left in the league, so we're maybe not in his prime, but the Cardinals could still get him on his way, you know.
On his deathbed?
No,
that would be
a sunset.
That would be a Cardinal thing to do.
She didn't say it'd be the Ohtani and the prime and down there like he is now. She just said the Cardinals had to get him. That's it. See?
A bit consultants something like that. Yeah, I will get a unicorn Shohei Ohtani tattoo if he comes here. That would be a dream. Maybe we just started GoFundMe for Shohei.
What do we think? Are we thinking unicorn body with a Shohei head, or a unicorn with like a Shohei tattoo on it? Like, what do we think?
No, I'm thinking, is it called a centaur? Is that like the mythical
half man, half horse? Yeah.
So like that. So like centaur. So it's going to be a horse unicorn body, and then the head and torso area is going to be actually Shohei.
Nice.
I think it'll be
all right. I'm here for it. We're gonna see this tattoo, y'all. I can't wait. I don't know how many years.
Wow.
I'm excited.
maybe
Brooke got me forward to this. Yes.
Yeah.
Another 10 years. But, you know, I'm gonna count down.
Where do you think he's going this offseason?
Oh gosh. Well, it's very interesting that the Angels decided not to trade him, and I'm guessing they're hoping that maybe if they make it to the playoffs, they can convince him to stay. But I think either way, he's going to be a Dodger or Yankee. To me, it's just big markets. They have the pockets, the money to do so. I see him to going either one of those locations. It's painful, but I can see it happening, especially the Dodgers. I think that they are purposely not making some moves in order to be able to pay him. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I agree with that. I think I said 2 weeks ago that I think the Angels are going to be stupid if they don't trade him, because the haul that they could get back would, like right now, even like Giolito has made 2 starts. And don't get me wrong, like I would love if the Cardinals signed Giolito in the offseason, because I do think he's a really good pitcher, but he was tagged for 9 runs today. And so now 2 starts with the Angels and he's got 2 L's. And they've just signed in all these. They got rid of like their 3 and 5 top prospects. Plus, I can't even remember, but they already had the worst prospects rankings in all of baseball. And they even made it even worse by getting a bunch of guys that are going to be free agents this year, and they're not going to bring back Shohei.
So
yeah,
why wouldn't the Angels try to build around Shohei and they got Trout? I know Trout's injured, and we know Trout does what he does when he's healthy. But with those 2 superstars, why wouldn't they try to build around it?
They do it the wrong way. They never have a good rotation. It's like the Cardinals the last couple of years. They always have like 3, 4, 5s, and then they gave all this money to Anthony Rendon, who I think has maybe played 162 games and since 2020. He's always hurt. Their outfield is a merry-go-round of all these different players, and now they just threw Randall Grichuk in there. It's just the owner is not smart. Like, just think about when they signed Albert Pujols in 2012. They signed Albert Pujols, Josh Hamilton, and C.J. Wilson, all these old guys who have already done the most they could do in their careers, and not Albert, because we obviously saw what he did, but like they gave all this money to these older guys, and they kind of remind me of what the Mets did this past offseason. They got really good names, but they're all older names like Eduardo Escobar and Mark Canha and Verlander, which, don't get me wrong, Verlander's still a horse, and I'm happy he's back with the Astros, but like they're spending a lot of money on big names just to do it, I think. And that's exactly what the Angels have done all these years. They just don't make smart moves.
So then can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah. I was going to say, if there's anything that we've learned from this season in Major League Baseball, specifically when you brought up the Mets and Padres, is that spending money doesn't guarantee wins or team chemistry. And that just seems to be the formula, Joe, with what you were touching on with the Angels, is they haven't been able to build that chemistry. And I like the parallel, too, that you brought with the Cardinals, because, I mean, you would look and think Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, those are 2 stars. And look at what this season and everything that has happened this season with the Cardinals. You need more than just those 2 stars. You need the right staff to supplement them so that it's not just all on them. Kind of the same with the Angels. It can't just all be on Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani to completely carry this team. You have to have the right other pieces in place where it's not always just on them, because they are workhorses, but it's not just them winning the games.
So, spin-off question. You know how you have for basketball and football players, hey, somebody was at their prime, then they're thinking like their good old days are gone, time for them to retire. Can you use that same thing for GMs? Dobo said the GM the Angels hasn't done a good job. And lately, we see that Mo here in St. Louis has been tripping. Yeah, we can put it on ownership, but my point is, can you have been a really, really good GM, and then your good days of scouting and signing people have, left you, and you need to probably move on to another role, or is it just hit and miss on years?
It can be hit or miss. It's very interesting what's happening with the Cardinals because I think that this is not the legacy that John Mozeliak wants to leave. So he is, even going to the season, mentioned that he's transitioning into a different role, stepping out of his kind of Pobo spot. And this is not the legacy that I think he wants to leave, but there's obviously some things that have been working against them. The pitching philosophy has been a huge issue, and that is on Mozeliak and the organization and the pitching philosophy that they've chosen to go with. It's been something that's disintegrating, not just in the majors as we see this season, but also in their minor league system where they're to this point where they're very dependent on bringing in some prospects or even looking to free agency. And then speaking of free agency, there's a giant concern with that because a lot of Mozeliak, and not trying to hound on him too much, but there is a pattern that you can look at with his history with free agency and how it's gone. I mean, if you look at Mike Leake, Brett Cecil, even how everything's gone with this Wilson Contreras contract, who is a free agent coming in, it starts to pile up where you do start to get concerned if he's lost his touch and hasn't kept up with the times of where Major League Baseball is going. Because it seems like, going back to the pitching philosophy, he's now talking about that they're prioritizing swing and miss stuff. Well, the rest of the league's been doing that. When your philosophy has been pitch to contact, and then you see what happens this season, pitch to contact did not work out for them well. You're missing a lot of swing and miss stuff. And all these other teams have those pitchers who can do that. It looks like you're behind the times. So they have a lot of catching up to do if, with what he says is true, that they'll be able to compete in 2024. So you do have those concerns that you're losing touch, but he is so integrated into the Cardinals system that I don't think that they would let him end his legacy on this note. So I hope that means that they will let him spend a lot of money in free agency, because obviously you didn't get any one or two starters at the trade deadline this year.
Yeah, you said a couple things that kind of like I've been saying is one is I feel like Mo, and just I can't just say Mo all the time, because I always try to bring in like DeWitt and just the organization as a whole. It's on social media, just like to say Mo all the time, but they've been behind the times for years now. Like if you look at the teams that are in the playoffs that actually like move forward in the playoffs, they're night and day different than the Cardinals. Just even last year, you throw Nola and Wheeler, we're done. We've never been good against Nola and Wheeler, but those guys are swing and miss type pitchers, and that's another thing. Like, as you can see, I'm also an Astros fan, but like the Astros, I think they made a record, had a record last year in the playoffs with strikeouts. It's because, like you need that to get somewhere in the playoffs, and that's why I'm a little concerned with the Orioles, with how good they are. My family is a big Orioles fan. They have a lot of just like pitch to contact as well, but they have a better defense than the Cardinals do. So, which I don't even know what happened with the Cardinals defense this year. This is
ever since Ocando left. This is
no, because last year
being real.
No, last year we've had, I think, top 3 best.
No, wait, remember, it didn't start off that way. It came to the halfway point they got together. But I said this last year. I said you can tell when Ocando, because we went through this literally like 5 years ago, and they brought Ocando back. They basically begged the man to come back at least to be in a consultant role, and boom, light switch, defense back to normal. And then it fall off again. His footprint was so much into the organization and our defense, because he didn't play that when they'd be down there in spring training. And then here you are now. He's not even around the organization like that. And this is what you get. Yeah, they were good last year, but it didn't start off that way. We keep going through this like the pitching. It's so obvious. And that's why I brought up, is Mo behind, not behind the times, but is it time for him to move on to something else because he's lived past his glory days? How don't you know who you have as your infielders that the defense is going to be good or not? How do you not know about the pitching? I'm not a scout. I have no way of knowing how to really scout a good pitcher, but I know some basics. I know if this person could hit the strike zone. I know if the person has a high-speed pitch and change. I know the basics. It seems like they don't even know that. Like, I can see little leaguers doing better than some of this they've been putting on the field in the last few years. Like, come on now. Okay.
And that's,
They did
and that's
win like the best defensive team, like what, 2 years in a row or 2 years ago, and then someone else won last year. But like, I do think the new rules, the shift, that had something to do with it. But the Cardinals, just like every other team in the league, knew exactly what we were. And there's a quote out there from Mo saying like, "Oh, we'll pretty much just like see what happens." That's pretty much what he said. Like, you can't do that, you know. And then like, I thought for sure going into this year with guys like Donnie and Edmund and O'Neal and Carlson, who doesn't even get to play as much, Walker even, like, I thought for sure we were going to be taking advantage of the bigger bases and no pickoff throws, and we're all going to swipe bags left and right, because that's what we've been for as long as I can remember. And then they just stopped that for some reason. I don't know. It's been a really weird year. And last thought, I almost threw up in my mouth when you said Mike Leake, because that was an awful contract.
I threw up in your mouth. You already have strep. Don't do anything else with your mouth.
And that's just one of the many contracts, right? Some of the bad free agency signings where this offseason, this upcoming free agency, this is the time to change that, right? You have to go, you mentioned Aaron Nola and Wheeler, you have to go and figure out that two-headed monster you can find, because that is getting with the times. That is getting with the trend of with where baseball's going. And speaking of things defensively, I think that they thought that platooning a lot of the positions would actually work out to their advantage this season, because they kept talking about their depth, but then you did have some injuries come up, and you just had guys playing out of positions, not getting consistent positions or playing times in and out of the lineup. And to me, it just looked like they were lost out there a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. So like they didn't have a defined role or identity. And obviously they still haven't found as a group this season. But this team has prided itself so much, or this club over the years, especially when it comes to the Cardinals way. To me, that's good fundamentals, defense. But I think that they were trying to transition into more of an offensive focus. They're more focused on the power, and defense took a back burner to it. And this is what you're seeing happen this season, right? Where fundamentals weren't a priority, so everything is falling apart. And I know when you're losing, nothing's working, but it's a culmination of all of this coming together. The pitching problems, the pitching philosophy not working out, not adapting to the new Major League Baseball rules, like somehow they didn't get the book for the rules like everybody else. It's like somehow they missed out on that. And then having players play out of position a lot of the times in platooning positions, and people not having clear defined roles where they could, build some consistency. All of that coming together leads to sloppy play, a sloppy club, and that's what we've seen exactly this season.
Yeah, like the offense, they achieved that. Besides the Nolan month and a half of the worst baseball he's probably ever played in his life, this offense has been one of the top offenses in baseball. So they achieved that, but everything else has just been. It's not been fun to watch, like everyone says, like, how are the Cardinals going to lose tonight on Twitter? That's just, and
finding different ways to lose.
Yeah, but one thing was like the platooning. I think me and Fred talked about the team last year, how we had a lot of different options. It kind of felt like the Rays and the Giants, like that could work. But after watching this year, that this is not a team that can do that. And one guy I look at is Tommy Edman. Like, the guy was told he's going to be our starting shortstop to start the year, and then he started playing second, and he's our center fielder out of nowhere. And now you got BK on 101 saying he's supposed to be our starting center fielder for years to come. Like, come on, like that's ridiculous. I have a better arm than Tommy Edman in center field. What? Like it's not good, like that can't happen. And so, but
let's put her out there.
No, Tommy Edman.
Go ahead.
Tommy Edman is one of my favorite Cardinals. I told Danny Mac earlier this year that I think he's one of the faces of the Cardinals, because that's how important he is to this team, I believe. But I think he might be a guy that you'll see shipped off during the offseason to maybe to Seattle to get one of those pitchers, because I just feel like with Gorman and Donnie and Mason Wynn coming up, he's, it's either Donnie, it's one of them has to sit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, you can't have a center fielder of Edman and then a guy that no one trusts in Walker, because they don't even give him playing time all the time. And then O'Neal and DC. DC's not going to get the chance. He's going to be gone too next year. So I don't know. They just got a lot to figure out, but none of it really makes sense how they constructed this team.
I'm
No,
just waiting
and
for that's all. Joel Tony's going to come, guys. He's going to save all this. He's
Yes.
going to his prime. Just wait.
Our Lord and
then-
Savior.
it solves everything. And the outfield, even at the trade deadline, we don't have much clarification, but I do agree with you that they're probably going to move some of those guys. And when you're talking about how defense is not obviously a priority, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that I think that that's what they're moving away from, because think about even when Dylan Carlson's back, and I do agree with you. I think Dylan Carlson is your best defensive center fielder by a good margin. Tommy Edman, I think what impresses a lot of people is his baseball IQ, the way that he's able to read the ball right off the bat. And you can see that in some instances this season when he's played center field. He's just a very versatile and talented player. They're going to have to move some guys. And so maybe Dylan Cease obviously wasn't picked up in the trade deadline. Logan Gilbert is another name that a lot of people were looking at. But I think moving away from things defensively, when Dylan Carlson, remember when he came back, he was injured for a little bit, he came back, they didn't even put him back out in the center field. So to me, that tells me that defense really hasn't been that big of a priority this season, and that it was more about who could help them hitting wise.
Yeah, because it's definitely 100% DC's your best center fielder, and the guy, he's gotten no chance at all this year. I thought for sure he's going to be a Yankee by 5 o'clock yesterday. I think everyone thought he was going to be a Yankee, but maybe that'll happen in the off season, and we'll get BK's guy Clark Schmidt, because I don't know what his obsession with Clark Schmidt is. Like, he's a 5 on her. I don't get it.
He's ready. He's ready for him to come in. I know it's very interesting how Dylan Carlson has fallen out of favor, and I think it really has to do with they don't believe that he can hit versus righties. But I don't know if you saw some of the articles that have come out when he's been asked about that, or just the perception. And it feels like, in his opinion, he thinks that they just haven't given him enough of an opportunity. And that's something that you're hearing from a lot of the guys, where they felt like they couldn't build consistency at a role this season. And they felt like that's the reason why you've seen them decline, possibly defensively, and for some of the guys offensively as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get better if you don't play. You know, like the weird thing they had going on with Walker a couple weeks ago. They gave him like 3 days off in a 5-day span. and then people on Twitter are complaining that he's slumping. Well, he's 20 years old. He just got random days off for no reason. How do you expect him to get better? And then they had him DHing the other day. He needs to be in the outfield at all times.
He does, because, well, as we know, there are already sellers at the trade deadline. Why not? Because they've been pulling him from games too in the outfield, where he's not even finishing the game in the outfield. Why not give him the reps? That is something that's bothered me this season, is their handling of Jordan Walker, where before the season started, you do this whole thing about how he's making the opening day roster. We saw that beautiful, Twitter video of Ali Marmol telling him, and it was such a big moment. And I even saw so many kids and people walking around with Walker jerseys. And then you say that you're going to stick with him, even if he goes through a slump early on, and then you send him down. It looks like a manipulation of service time, because they didn't even give him enough reps in the minors last season to even give him a chance defensively in the outfield. And so you have been doing a disservice to him. And I just want them to hopefully make it right so it doesn't stunt him, because that's the last thing I want to see. But he is a very mature young man, and very impressive how he's handled all this adversity and how he's continued to push through and see through it and say, okay, well, I know what got me here to the majors in the first place, and I'm going to stick with that, because when he's doing what he's allowed to do, he's pretty successful.
But you know what? I'm going to use the NBA term of what they're doing to Walker now. Load management, how they did Zion Williamson. Remember, Zion got all that hype. He got drafted from Duke, went to the Pelicans, had a little scare over going to arrest him for a majority of the season, called load management. Next season, same thing. It seems like that's what the Cardinals are doing to Walker lately. Now, is it a good tactic? I mean, we know this season is a wash. They suck. Throw the whole season away, literally. Why not play him? What do you have to lose? I mean, besides an injury. But at this point, if you're not getting the PT enough to even have an injury, again, what do you have to lose? So the philosophy of the Cardinal organization, the Cardinal way, it's a Cardinal Twilight Zone. It's no way right now. That's what they need to work on. Like, you know how, and that definitely football and basketball, your team needs an identity. The Cardinals don't even know what identity is. All they know is it's always negative press between the Contreras stuff, the pitching sucks, Walker not getting the hit and being an all-star. But it's like you do have one of the best offenses. But you can't even tell because it's overshadowed with all this shit show on the field, you know? So if it's not one thing, it's another. But I'm just, like I said, let's throw the whole season away. Start over next year. But we need to do some changes in a front office organization at the top to get the real changes if you want to see it on the field. And the only other thing, I don't see a lot of big moves happening because we're passionate sports fans. But the organization's main job is to what? Make money. It's a business. There's still plenty of fans going to the games, still seeing sellouts sometimes. It's like, do they really care? I mean, at this point, I don't think the WIC cares as long as you're making money for them. They're doing it, even being trash on the field. So that's why I said Mo goes. If the WIC's not going to relinquish ownership, then how else are we going to see a change? I don't see, even with all the complaining, because we've done this over 2 years, and we're getting the same results. Definition of insanity. So, I mean, I started off with Walkabout splitting off because I'm like, there's so much other stuff going on. And at this point, they make my brain hurt. I tuned out the Cardinals. And I'm looking at, spring looking at the fall ball football. And I was going to pivot that way. But if you want to finish something up real quick about the Cardinals, go ahead, Joe Bo. And I'm going to pivot to football, ask a question to you, Brooke.
No, the only thing I was going to say lastly on like the Cardinals as a whole is, I think I've said on here, is like there's tons of things that we can point to this year, but just like headlines and story, there's so many stories about this year and not a single good one. Like you can say that Walker is a good one, but then you talk about the Cardinals kind of mistreating him a little bit. Then you got the Contreras thing, the pitching thing, the O'Neill thing, like 5 days into the year, like it's just been a lot of bad press and they've been handling things wrong. Honestly, since day one, it seems like. And I just told my husband this not that long ago, is I think the biggest highlight of this year was Wayno singing the national anthem on opening day. Like, I am being dead serious. That was probably the happiest. I think I got a little teary-eyed at Busch Stadium watching that. That was so cool, But other than that, like, I don't think I could write up a top 3 list for you guys. I think that was the best moment of the year.
Well,
yeah, it's been such a drama-filled season for the Cardinals where it seems so out of character where you don't think the Cardinals would act like this. And just my last thought is I don't think it's going to happen, but to both of your points of hoping for some sort of change, it's almost like you need to bring in somebody who is outside of this organization that's not going to be a yes man, that can bring in a different perspective. Because even if you look at the managerial roles, they're promoting from within, which you could argue hasn't worked out with Mike Matheny and then Mike Schilt with the philosophical differences, and Oli Marmol still early on in his career. But this has been a very tumultuous season that he's been involved in, and he was promoted within. It seems like you just need somebody else to come in, whether it's amongst the coaching staff, managerial wise, or even in the front office, especially somebody who can come in from an outside perspective that doesn't necessarily have ties to the Cardinals organization, that can say to them, look, maybe we should look at this instead. So, because it feels like if you have too many yes men around you, then you're going to be really narrowed in your view of things. And that's exactly where it looked like the season to the outside world. It's like, what in the world are you thinking? Imagine if you actually had someone in that front office who could actually speak on that before all of that had gotten out to the press.
Yep.
Facts.
Hey, we're going to just pivot here a little bit. You guys don't mind? A lot of Cardinals talk. I feel like every time I come on, when we have ladies' night, I learn a lot about the Cardinals. But I feel like I'm learning something new every year. Joe, you should be proud of me. But Brooke, just a couple more things with your story. Like I said, just reading, just hearing you speak. Like, I mean, it's truly amazing. But talk about your Balk Talk and the Nutty Neuters Association.
Oh, the Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation. That is my fan club. So Joe talked about it a little bit. I have a Team Japan jersey. I'm of Japanese heritage, so Japanese, Scottish, and Irish. And so that's why I root for Team Japan, of course, because that's my grandmother's from Japan. I lived in Tokyo for a little bit. And so it's very near and dear to my heart. And so it was very special when Lars Nootbaar played for Team Japan, first Japanese American to actually represent or go over and play for Team Japan. So that was a huge moment. And so for fun on radio, I'm not being creepy or anything like that. Like, it's all for fun. We say that I'm the president of the Nutty Neuters fan club, which is what we named it, out of Newt Nation. And we just support Lars Nootbaar a lot.
I like
we
the name.
survived the trade deadline. The trade deadline.
That's
a catchy name.
for the Nutty Neuters.
Yeah, the Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation. Yeah.
Newt Nation.
Yeah, and I think Lars Nootbaar actually did something a moment ago during the game because I just got a text that said Nutty Neuters rejoice. So I think that he must have just done something in the game a minute ago. If you add it up, Joe.
He has a homer tonight. And he made a good play in center. All of our outfielders have a homer tonight, apparently.
Oh wow!
Wow. They heard us talking about them.
Yeah, I know.
They're gonna spice it up out there real quickly. Yeah. Thank you guys.
And this kind of goes with your Newt thing. I've been seeing on Twitter lately you and Polo doing some fun stuff as well.
Yeah, so Polo Asensio is the Cardinals Spanish broadcaster. There we are. Cardinals Spanish broadcaster. We have a bi-weekly podcast that's on YouTube. It's just a sports, mostly baseball talk show. We do get a little sidetracked. You know, we'll talk about a little bit of everything. But Polo Asensio is great. Great broadcaster. I love listening to the Spanish broadcast, even though I'm not fluent in Spanish, just because of the energy that him and Benji Molina, Yadier Molina's brother, bring to the broadcast. It's so entertaining and fun to listen to. And we talk about everything. We have been talking a lot about the Cardinals, but it's just a fun baseball talk show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And yeah, what about, and also being a fiance? Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was that.
It's good.
Sure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's my fiance, David. Yeah. So we've actually been engaged since 2020. But then COVID, and then we didn't want to deal with the COVID wedding madness because so many of my friends, like, their weddings were pushed back and then they didn't get to have the full wedding. And so we finally got around to planning it. So it'll be June 8th of next year. And he's super supportive. Yeah. He's
okay, I have to ask, do you think you're going to be like Bridezilla? Are you pretty
Oh my gosh. Carrie Davis asked the same thing. So did Randy. I don't think I am. And this is what I told them is I didn't come in with any expectations of where I've dreamt about like this huge day. I've just cared more about, you know, just the nuptials and getting it out of the way. We're doing this more for the family.
Right.
So I've been trying to be as chill as possible.
Yeah.
And I think I've done a good job. No Bridezilla. Yes. I picked out my dress last weekend, went home to Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
And so nothing bad or crazy happened there. I did get cornered in the dressing room by one of the sales associates where she's just like, she knew I was going to multiple appointments. And she was like, cancel your other appointments. This is the dress for you. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
I was like, I still got to think about that a little bit. But other than that, I think I've been pretty chill. So
that's good.
Yeah.
I would say just to like wrap up with you, just what is your like personal, like what is a goal of yours? Like what is something that you're really trying to strive for in this field?
I think just continuing to grow, and sports media is evolving so much. So podcasts, if you even look what happened with Pat McAfee and ESPN. I mean, I remember seeing Pat McAfee. He literally was filming on his couch and just posting videos on Twitter of him reacting to kickers and punters. And now it's turned into one of like the highest paid shows on ESPN. I think sports media is changing so much where they're looking for that kind of content. And so I just want to continue to be able to evolve where maybe I can continue with what I'm doing with Polo, with evolving that brand. And I would like to get back into more of the TV side of things too, like some sideline work. And so this fall, once my non-compete ends with TV, I'll be getting back into that stuff. So just continuing to grow and evolve and hopefully inspire some other young women to pursue this, like young Brooke looked up and saw one day on TV. So I hope that's just the goal. It's just have fun, continue to grow with the changes, and evolve.
Nice. Well, ladies, I feel like we just got a new friend.
Hey, this is a good list to have of the friend list. All right, you're in good company, Brooke.
Is in. Yeah. No, this is
great. But Brooke, real quickly, because you're from Tennessee, I was just like, I know I'm gonna hear a Southern drawl, I'm gonna hear a Tennessee twang or something, but I don't hear it. Like, did you lose it over the years, or do you have to change it up on the radio, or what?
Oh goodness, I actually had to work on it. So you could probably find it on my YouTube channel from when I was in college. I had I wouldn't say thick Southern accent, but there was definitely a twang to it. And every once in a while it will come out, or I try to suppress it. But when I was bartending in Nashville, like I was telling you guys, I would practice because Nashville gets so many people in from other states. And so whenever I was checking people's IDs, I would see where they're from. And Midwest accent is actually the ideal accent. That's what they teach us in broadcast journalism school. And so I would mimic the way that they talked so that I could pick it up, or I would just watch TV of, certain people and the way that they talk so that I could work on getting rid of my accent. And I hope that I did a good enough job of suppressing it. every once in a while it comes out. So especially when I go back home to Tennessee, my parents really don't have that thick of an accent, but my mom's side of the family does. And there will be times like the first time my fiance met that side of the family, he was like, I don't understand what they're saying. Like the accent's so thick.
Mm-hmm.
The Southern draw. So I've definitely worked hard to get rid of it. But luckily, I was telling you guys that bartending in Nashville gave me some thick skin, also helped me get rid of my accent. So it worked out.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This has been a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun. You can tell we've been away from this for 2 months. So there's a lot to talk about. Yes, but we enjoy listening to your story. We're looking forward to just seeing you grow in this profession. Just being an impact, especially like you said, just being the face for young girls to see that, hey, yes, you can do this. So we appreciate you very, very much.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys for doing this.
Yeah. Well, the show just keeps getting, more interesting as we go. Some more special guests. This is a familiar face. We have. Hold up. There we go. Here we go.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
I spy what? I spy with my 4 eyes right here.
What's going on?
Is that on purpose?
I guess. I don't know if you lost them.
I spy, and they went black on me. I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, the funny thing is, we're talking about pitching. Dakota Hudson gave up. He was having a no-hitter until he gave up a single hit in the 6th inning, which is really weird for Dakota Hudson because he ain't that good.
No, who ain't that good no more? Flaherty. I thought they would. Well, they did trade him finally, but that was such a good last year. Here nor there.
He's been better this last month or so.
You're back. No,
you're back. Okay. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, no, we have a familiar face here with us, Ladies Night, Craig Black. Super excited to have him, especially to hear about his community cuts for kids. And as an educator myself, I just love these things when it's just giving back to the community. I'm super excited to hear about it. And yeah, I can't wait to hear about the community cuts for kids.
So, I'm on. I'm here.
He's here.
Hey, ladies, I appreciate y'all having me on the show.
What's up?
We made an exception. You should feel really, really special. I mean, really special. All the way from DC special, okay?
I feel so special right now. All these beautiful ladies let me into this atmosphere. I appreciate y'all letting me just come and hang out and be a part of the show and talk about my event, my program that I got going on in St. Louis with the kids. So I'm here. So can I go right into it? You want me to start selling it? Let's go right into it.
I want to hear about it.
So
go.
my 22nd annual Community Catch for Kids is happening this weekend. It'll be on Saturday, August 5th. We'll be at the what spot we'll be at? Beyond the Backpack, and it's going to be at the Normandy Early Learning Center. That's 7855 Natural Bridge Road. We'll be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. cutting and styling boys and girls' heads. So the whole gist of my event is to make sure that these kids go back to school with that self-esteem, to make them feel good on that first day of school. So what we do is we cut and we style their hair. You know how you feel, ladies, when y'all leave this salon. Absolutely. You know how y'all feel, the fellas too, whatever fellas watch, when y'all get that fresh cut and y'all feel real good about that cut. That's the type of self-esteem we're trying to build in these kids on the first day of school. That's what we do. So like I said, the first event is on August the 5th. That's Saturday, Beyond the Backpack. The second event is on Sunday, August the 6th. We'll be at the O'Fallon Park Recreation Complex. That's from 1 to 4 p.m. And we'll also at the same time on Sunday, we'll be at the Kappa House in Belleville, Illinois. And that's 806 West C Street in Belleville. So on Sunday, we got 2 events going on at the same time. And on Saturday, 1 event going. And we'll be back the following weekend at the St. Louis Zoo Wild Care Park. And that's with the DeJuan Dillon Colon Cancer Foundation being put on by my good friend Buffy right here. That's sitting right here. And so me and Buffy has been partnering for this event probably for the last, I'm going to say 10 years out there, Buffy. I may be wrong, but it's been, put your mic down, that mic so they can hear you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So she's been a great part of her event. Is excellent. I just come in to help her out on her part of the event. I just come in, I cut and I style heads, but her event has on a regular 500 plus kids that come out and are part of her event. So it's been a great 22 years for me doing this Cuts for Kids, but hooking up with a great partner like Buffy and the DeJuan Dillon Colon Cancer Foundation, you know, it's something great. You know, we give back. We take care of the kids for back to school.
It's a
Craig
blessing.
love the kids.
Yeah, Craig love the kids. I got enough of them out here. So, you know, I got to love them.
Oh, I'm so ready to do that. Really. Well, that's good. Thank you for helping our community. Thank you for giving back, especially all the way from DC area. And also, your podcast you had, y'all took a hiatus or a break or what? I haven't been getting.
Yeah. Some Wildcats, my podcast, my fellas. These dudes are terrible. I tell you, want me to tell the truth?
Yeah, on ladies' night, please say something bad about the fellas so y'all can't say me bashing y'all, please.
And I hope some of the fellas are watching this right now because I'm talking bad about them. We've took a little hiatus, but you know how it started off for the love. We were doing it, you know, every week for the love, but then guys got busy with their families, with their kids. You know how it goes. So we were coming back strong for 2023. We had a couple of shows going, and then, you know, basketball season came around. A lot of the guys coach, and then, you know, football season coming around now. So you know, it fell off. I'll be very honest with you. They are some terrible dudes. They are some terrible dudes.
Well, you know what? You can talk about your boys, but they do have other obligations. I understand. That's why I always give credit to our producer. Shout out to Smoooth. He puts it in every week.
Yes.
It is a lot of time commitment on top of your regular life. So I don't let you dog your boys out too bad, but can't wait for y'all to be able to make an appearance again. You know, I had some good.
They would do the same to me, so I take every advantage that I can. You know, that's how I go. Come on now, buddy. You know how it is. You know, whatever chance they get, they dog me out. So I'm gonna shoot them right back at them. So, but it's some Wildcats podcast. But you can catch some great episodes on YouTube at some Wildcats. So yeah, you can get some old episodes, probably like about 3 months ago. Last time we did a podcast. So. Okay. Yeah. But also, my Community Cuts for Kids in DC for all my DMV people that are actually watching right now. Mm-hmm. It'll be August 27th in Washington, DC. This is the 6th annual going down in DC. So And we got 2 locations in DC. We do Southeast Washington, DC, and we do Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So a lot of people in St. Louis don't know DC is my hometown where I was born and raised. Okay. St. Louis changed my life. Y'all need to understand that.
For the better. Throw it in there for the better, please. Because our city got a bad rep right now. So.
For the greatness, the better, it made me who I really am today. I'm not gonna lie. St. Louis took my radio career from nothing to the epitome of everything. I in St. Louis, I did nights, I did afternoons, and I did mornings. I launched 2 radio stations, and it just took me on a journey that, that's why people's like, why do you keep coming back to mostly St. Louis people say that to me all the time. It's crazy though. It's really like, hey, why you back here? What you doing? Didn't you leave? Why you keep coming? Because you know what? St. Louis gave me a son, a beautiful, my man, my dude CJ. He is in college right now. He's been a perfect son. Hasn't been any type of trouble to me. He's been a great dude. He gave me a great baby mama, a wonderful ex-wife. I've done a lot, in St. Louis. So
we're gonna clean that list up, bro. Hold on now. It's on St. Louis right now, and you talking about you from you've been around St. Louis too long.
So St. Louis.
You probably know my cousin because he did some radio stuff too. He went by Pat Precise.
Yes,
Patrick Booker,
Tony J's right hand man. That's Tony J. Rest in power, rest in peace. Peace.
Patrick, he's my big cousin.
That's your big cousin.
That's my big cousin.
Yes. See, we old school in this game. We go back
to Louis again because y'all know somebody.
My cousin Pat, he still do all of our family functions.
He does.
And believe it or not, we're all emotional. He gets so emotional at every event that we do with our family. But I remember when he was doing
That's my man. He used to hang out with. That's how I met him, through Tony J. Matter of fact. So he's a real good dude. He is. It goes back to them Q95 5 days, the legendary. I call it the legendary radio station.
Our producer know about them Q95 5 days. He know what we was doing when it's time to get out on them streets. I'm just saying.
Yes, my cousin Pat, we had T-shirts, cups, pins. He used to come with all the hot 104.1. So I know all about that. But just kind of go more about your foundation because I'm a teacher. So anytime to the community, especially for kids, I really inspire that. And then also hearing from Buffy too about
I want Buffy to talk about her program on the 13th because it's in that brand new complex up there in North County in the Spanish Lake area. So tell them about what's going on the 13th, Buffy.
Well, I'm Buffy Dillon, founder of the Dewan Dillon Colon Cancer Foundation, started in honor of my late husband that passed of colon cancer. He and I started giving back together. We had a couple of businesses in Spanish Lake. And we started giving back, having community days. And he was a mentor, basketball coach, gets stomach ache one day at 39. And our lives changed within 2 weeks. Find out he has stage 4 colon cancer and he dies within 9 months. I promised him that I'll never let the world forget his name. Yesterday actually was 10 years that he's been gone. And I've had the foundation for 9 years. And so we have went hard in, the hard in the paint, as they say. And that's how me and Craig came together, And so I wanted to continue the tradition of the community day, but also help in so many other ways that we can. So if we're not doing something throughout the year, Purses for a Purpose, Thanksgiving, Christmas, seniors, Valentine's Day, teddy bears and socks for kids, we're volunteering with other organizations to further their cause. It takes a village. And then we're always spreading colon cancer awareness, survivorship, and anything dealing with colon cancer to help anyone that has dealt with it. Always stressing to the guys, please go get checked out.
Absolutely.
My husband didn't have any symptoms, got a stomach ache one day and it changed our lives. So at any rate, our event on August 13th, Craig and his crew, they'll be joining us again, and actually usually it's the Dewan Dillon colon cancer team that has this event, and this will be our 13th year. He and I did it together for 3 years, and then I took over and finished it up, or keep going per se. And this year we are partnering with St. Louis County Police Department, PAL, and also Councilwoman Shalonda Webb of the 4th District. So that covers Riverview, Castle Point, Bell Fountain, several areas. And pretty much what we want to do is bring everyone together, not only North County, but everybody's invited. We're having it at the new St. Louis Zoo Wild Care Park, and that's in Spanish Lake also. So I'm still going to be able to accommodate all the Spanish Lake people that usually come, and then even more people, from Riverview, Glasgow Village, and so on and so forth. And so I usually accommodate for 300 to 500. And so basically partnering with these other entities, we are trying to double that number. And basically just going to give them a full day of everything. So from haircuts and hairstyles, of course, to education, entertainment, giveaways, of course, backpacks with school supplies. We'll also have guest speakers there. Free food, all kind of bounce houses, clowns, things like that. But also all kind of screenings, vision, dental, medical, family resources for them to sign up for. We'll have the mammography van out there. We'll have the library with the bookmobile. We'll have all kind of things for the kids to enjoy. And so with that, just give them a day of smiles.
Are we bringing back the horses this year? The horses are going to be back this year?
The zoo won't let us bring foreign animals on the zoo. But
okay.
Exactly. Because we bring horses every year for the kids to ride.
I'm telling y'all, the first year I did it with her, I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm like, what is this big trailer coming? Is that a horse?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was excited. You know what I'm saying? So I can imagine the kid.
Yeah, but they are going to provide maybe 3 different animals to let the kids pet them and talk to them about the animals and things like that. We'll have I think it's 3 different fire departments that are joining us also, and they basically are doing a lot for this event, and in addition to everyone else that's helping us out. So it takes a village, as I said, and we're trying to, like I said, make as many smile as we can.
That's what it is. I'm telling you.
I love it.
And this is why I jumped in the partner. You see, you heard all that. That's why.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. It's beautiful things. So I'm gonna stress this right now. Community Cuts for Kids, we need barbers and stylists. So if you know a barber, if you're dating a barber, if your friend is dating a barber, or if your barber is, your sneaky link, anything like that, make sure you send that barber or stylist to the CraigShieldsFoundation.org. It's on the screen right now. Tell them they can register right now. We need more barbers and stylists. So we're trying to take care of all our babies that come through. It's only a 4-hour period, so we can get, within that 4 hours. But we try, if we have more barbers, we have more stylists, we can get more kids. So please send them to the website, the CraigShieldsFoundation.org, and to register. Yeah.
I love everything about it. Like I said, I'm a teacher, so
Mhm.
anytime, especially around this time, like when I go shopping or whatever, I try to
Mhm.
donate like cash or any
It's-
type of school supply.
School supplies are outrageous now.
It really is.
Everything's high, but
really is.
I went and bought a couple of things today, and it's like a handful of stuff. I spent $100 just for the little TV effect, because we did Fox 2 this morning, and just for the little TV effect, I bought a couple of little things. I spent $100 and got basically nothing.
You talking about like the notebooks, the index cards, that type of school supplies. You talking about the book bags.
It's needed. Donations are needed.
I've been in education I'm going on my 7th year of teaching, and I see the class lists and all of those. Sometimes we don't even use all those supplies. Like it's just, it's a lot. Like it is. And I just feel like it gets more and more and more. But like, no, like I really love you all's story and what you all do. I mean, like you said, it does. It takes a village. It really does. I've experienced all different kinds of students, and it does. It takes a lot. And what you guys do is great for kids, the community, and the whole hair thing. I totally get that. Because as a Black educator, especially in elementary, I taught middle school for 5 years, and when I got a teaching job at the elementary level, I didn't realize how much of an impact it was for Black students to see a Black teacher at an early age. You know, and I tell people all the time, I didn't have my first Black teacher until I got to college. You know,
wow.
so I take pride in like what you all do, and
I applaud you for just for teaching. My mother
whole life without until college to see a Black teacher. Like I know
That's-
you
that's
were early about representation. You know, a little person looking at you. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, we had administrators, of course, but it's not the same of having a classroom teacher, you know, because like with an administrator, you know, you only see them in the hallway, or if you went to the principal office, which I never did because they all knew my dad's phone number and my mom's phone number.
Right.
So like I wasn't that, but like, yeah, like you'll see, you know, we had administrators, you know, custodians, I mean, in like cafeteria, and they were all great, you know, like they were all great. And I had relationships with all of them, but like, yeah, no, I didn't have my first like Black teacher until I got to college.
Once again, I applaud you for 7 years of teaching. You know, I just don't think these teachers are compensated enough for what they do. It's
and
not.
I taught in COVID.
That's you was on that Zoom. I know.
Like picture me like when I have an apartment, and I feel like when people come cut the grass, like you see me on the screen doing like jumping jacks or something. I'm pretty sure people are like, what is she doing? No, I mean, you guys are just as important, like what you all do for the community, for those kids, and also providing like resources for parents, because I think that's also important, is just helping them and giving them the amount of resources that they need, you know, because there are a lot of information, especially in our community, that they don't know about, you know, like, and we have to educate them about that. So I definitely take pride in that, especially like I said, especially when it comes to the hair. Like I have, you know, some of my Black girls, like I tried to really like tell them like embrace your hair. You know, I went through a whole braid phase last year, and like next thing you know, all my girls had braids. So it was like, but like, yeah, like so, but just like I know what that feels like. Like that influence. It does. It makes them feel really good when their hair is all done, and like I just tell them all the time, your hair is beautiful. I tell them that all the time.
And I truly believe as a child, I was I didn't have any self-confidence. That's what's crazy about me getting into the whole radio. It was like I was the shy kid, you know, and I did have Black teachers growing up, but not until I got into college where all the self-confidence, because I went to a HBC, I went to Bowie State University, and that school, that those African American studies, the positiveness that they endowed on me, it brought me out of my shell, and the next thing I knew, I'm talking on the radio. I'm like, what am I doing? It's like, you know, I just took it and ran with it. So it was it's that influence. You need that. You need to see people like you, and you know, and men too. You need to see them those kids need to see those teachers. They need to see a lot. They need to see those faces, you know. And I come from a household. My mom was a teacher for 35 years in a DC public schools, and you know, just when I would go to
No.
I was about to type in the chat if that was just me or.
No, I think it's did what it did earlier.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just having some connection issues on their end. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was listening to that and I was like thinking I should have my mom bring my nephews and my niece up there for that event, because yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I know, school, I'm happy for parents that the kids can get out of the house, but I'm sad for the kids because I do not miss that feeling going back to school. It's like I was walking around Walmart the other day and I was seeing all this stuff and I'm like, these poor kids, man.
It's totally different when we were doing it, and look how many years removed. We'll be doing it Sasha won't be going to kindergarten until next year. So I'm like, I don't want to have to do that dread through a Walmart or a Target, but it's part of life. But yeah, when Craig Black mentioned earlier that it was $100, I'm like, for what? I'm like, I know everything is going up. Literally, I know that, but And now, my husband, he's a school teacher. He's a 4th grade teacher. And the stuff, like, he doesn't depend on school lists. But it's just funny because I know he spends some money out of pocket. And he'll even just do school supplies. He's done little treats here and there to motivate the kids. But I commend anybody in education. That's not my ministry. And like my mom was a school teacher. And, yeah, I'm glad I didn't choose that path. I mean, they do get the breaks, but I'm like, all that extra stuff. And
do they still? I remember back in the day, we always had to buy like tissues and toilet paper. Do they still do that? Like each kid had
sometimes they'll say toilet paper, but the wipes, Lysol, Clorox wipes is big, even before COVID. But since COVID, that sanitizers, but they want classroom donations and your regular child's supplies too. And the other thing that's not
a lot of that doesn't even get used.
Yeah, but then sometimes some stuff does get used before the end of the school year, and they'll need to restock up for their child. It depends, and again, what grade level. So if they're using crayons and the crayons break, or markers, no more markers and dried out, But when you go on a little older, like middle, definitely high school, paper, it used to be big for us, my supply list, but everything's so much digital now. So I'm like, how much do they need? So the school list definitely is more elementary age, because middle and high, you need some stuff, but not as much because everything's digital. They're back.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you guys. Nope. Okay. What was I gonna say? I don't even remember. I don't remember our teachers asking about like wipes or anything, Clorox wipes. I think I remember maybe Lysol.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like, like kindergarten and stuff when you're nasty and.
Yeah, that's why I say that school supply list is big. Definitely elementary. When you hit middle school, you'll need some stuff, but they do more digital. You're not doing as much hand-on artsy and crafty type stuff. So, but yeah,
I remember when my sister, because we went to St. Martin Tours private school most of our lives, and then when we went to Hancock, that's whenever. By the time she went to Hancock, they all had these like MacBooks, and I'm like,
yeah.
What the hell? Like
they're so digital now, yeah.
I had to write everything.
That's why I said like the school supply list that we dealt with is definitely different from now, even though they have still some hands of stuff, in elementary, but they need like jump drives and digital stuff they want them to know, and it's like, yeah, it's definitely different. But I got one more year, then I'll be like, oh, school supply shopping time.
Yeah, but it's gonna be sad though. Like I don't even want to think about sending me off to school. It makes me sad thinking about it right now.
I got this girl when that first had to drop her off to the babysitter. Oh gosh, with Sasha, I was like that. With Sanaa, and I really had to go through that because she was a COVID baby per se.
Yeah.
But anyway, the what's today? This is the 2nd. So once the school year gets going, I know my personal life balance is going to change a little bit. So I'll see how frequently I can do the show. Because this last year I did it, and I was like, yeah, I can't do that again. It's a lot. Because she's not on homework yet, but the preparation, we have to get her back in school mode starting next week. To make sure the bath is done in time, make sure it's fed in time, make sure clothes, all of that. Even though the other one is not in school age yet, but still it's like, yeah. Sometimes you just think, oh, it's just once a week, but shoot, that like today, a long day.
Y'all back?
They good? Can you hear us?
Yep.
All right. Well, y'all got some parting words and want to, plug it in one more time about the dates for the events for Cuts for Kids.
Oh yes, y'all can hear me too.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So it's this Saturday, August the 5th, at the Beyond the Backpack celebration. That's at the Normandy Early Learning Center. That's 7855 Natural Bridge Road from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's also on Sunday, August the 6th. We got 2 locations at the same time. We'll be at the O'Fallon Park Recreation Complex, 4343 West Florissant, and we'll be at the Belleville Kappa House in Belleville, Illinois. That's 802 West C Street in Belleville, Illinois. And We'll be back next weekend, Sunday, August 13th. We'll be at the St. Louis Wild Care Park with the Dewan Dillon Colon Cancer Foundation. That's from 1 to 4 p.m. as well. So I believe that address, Buffy, help me out. I don't know the address on top of my head.
12385 Larimore Road.
Okay. Yes, that's what we'll be. Community Cuts for Kids. We need barbers. We need stylists. Buffy, is there anything you need?
We are still in need of more supplies. We're trying to accommodate 500 to 600 children.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that basically the kids can use, we are in need of as far as supplies. So as Craig said, ours is next Sunday, August 13th, at the new St. Louis Wild Care Park. New St. Louis Zoo Wild Care Park. And we are hoping to make as many smile as we possibly can, as I said earlier.
Mm-hmm. So they need school supplies. I need barbers and stylists. And you can donate cash. Yes. You can go to the CraigShieldsFoundation.org. Click on that donate button. We take money. Cash app, cash, credit cards,
Venmo?
PayPal.
Y'all do Venmo? PayPal?
Venmo, all that. Give me a call, 314-514-5762. Yes, you can do all that.
Like we back on the radio. Oh, miss those days.
Give me a call. Yeah.
Run it.
Look, back when it was kid free, back when it was living your best life, being reckless but responsible at the same time. Yeah, pretty
You know what, Bunny? Every time I look and I see your daughter on the screen, I'm amazed because I remember when I first met you, she was a big bump. You know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
that's the first time I was like, oh, she's pregnant. Oh, look at her, she glowing. And then when I come back to see her, she's in her lap, right? I'm like, wow, time flies.
Yeah. When I was in my bunk is sleeping. Say hi, Chris Black. Say hi, Jobo. Say hi, Brooke. Say, Brooke, mommy watches you. You were on the news all the time. And she always asks me, why you like watching the news? I'm like, I gotta see what's going on. But these are the type of smiles you want to see, right?
Yeah.
Happy face is and that. Yes.
So I appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
We'll be in touch.
Shout out to Smoooth too. Shout out to Smoooth.
Yeah, thanks for everything.
Yep. Okay.
And thanks so much. Yeah, as we wrapped this ladies' night, Brooke, we always do this. Any special shout outs you want to give out?
Just listen in the mornings on 101 ESPN, the opening drive from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then, as I mentioned, I have my podcast with Polo Asensio, the Cardinals Spanish broadcaster, and that's bi-weekly, but you can see it on 101 ESPN, our website.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
All right.
Yes.
I like to shout out my man Momo and Lil Bobby and no, not that type of shout out. Oh, that wasn't funny. Okay. Anyway,
This man.
No,
Back in St. Louis, don't know how to act.
we're on the of barbers and stylists. Please go to the CraigShieldsFoundation.org. Yep.
Thank you. I want to thank all of our wonderful guests, our panelists. We thank you all for giving up your time to join us on the Platform Sports Talk Show. This was Ladies' Night. It's been a couple of months, but we're back at it. We appreciate you all, and make sure for all our listeners on Hot 365 Radio, you're available to listen right now, right? And we have all our shows archived on the Roku channel. And of course, we are on YouTube. And make sure they need to click on that. What, Sasha?
Click on .com.
No, click on the bell, baby. Anytime we go live, what happens?
Welcome.
Girl, anytime we go live, you all get notified. Also, besides the first Wednesday of the month on Ladies' Night, we also have the Man Cave on the last Wednesday of the month. Shout out to all the fellas. They've been holding it down. And in between the first and the last Wednesday of the month, we have, of course, our weekly Platform Sports Talk Show with all the wonderful topics you can talk about in the wonderful wide world of sports. And any important words for our listeners and viewers? This girl's so silly. Everyone be safe out there. Have a great night, great week. Stay cool. We out.
We out.
Longer.
Girl, you're so silly.
Longer.
But it's so funny.
Thank you.